How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a new thing that I'm trying. Wanting to do a sports show or sports podcast, whatever you want to call it, because I love sports. Um, and welcome to Fourth and Forever, where we'll talk about all things from football to basketball to UFC, just anything that interests me and hopefully it interests you as well. Obviously, with today's episode, we are diving into college football because we are just a few days away from week 0. And in this episode, obviously, we've got the predictions for this year. We're going for the season preview. We're going for a championship. Who's going to win the Natty? Who is going to make it in the playoffs? Who are the sleeper teams and who who's going to win Heisman? Who's going to be runner up? We're going to talk about all that great stuff. And I'm hoping in the days to come that we can dive into possibly all the craziness that has happened in the NBA as well. I mean, we've got Giannis going to Miami. We've got Clay going to Miami now. We've got LeBron going to Philly, as well as Jaylen Brown, as well as all this stuff happening all at once. It's a crazy time in the NBA. Lots of exciting stuff going on, and the NFL season starts really soon. So I'm really excited to kind of venture off into sports and uh, just have fun with this. And I love talking about this stuff. So welcome to Fourth and Forever. I'm your host, Chase, and let's get started. So first up, I mean, the question that everybody has is, who is going to win the national championship? It's too early to say for some people. It's an obvious answer for others. But when it comes down to teams, there's a few teams that get in the mix. Obviously, you've got Ohio State. Indiana is now becoming a powerhouse with Kurt Signetti running the place now. But that's another big thing that's going to happen is what is he going to do without Mendoza? I mean, he's off apparently backing up Kirk Cousins in Las Vegas right now. So we don't know what he's got hidden up his sleeve. He's got some tricks he can pull out this year. I'm excited to see what Indiana does, but is it going to be enough to secure a playoff spot, secure the national championship, and go back to back? That's what some people are wondering. I personally don't think that that's going to happen. You see, I'm wearing a Florida Gators hat. I was born and raised in Florida. Grew up a Gators fan. Grew up a Jaguars fan. Florida's not going to be that good this year. I mean, history has been telling me that for a while now. So I'm not a delusional fan by all means. I mean, I can get attacked for it because, all fans of all teams get attacked for certain reasons. But almost all my teams are homegrown. I live in Utah now, so I mean, I'm surrounded by two college football powerhouses in BYU and Utah. Great rivalry, great atmosphere for both teams, and the Utah Jazz. It's really fun. But enough about me, and let's get into my national championship prediction for this year. I think that our winner is going to be Ohio State. I mean, they're always in the running every year. And when you've got a Heisman runner up from last year taking over again, I think he has something to prove and Julian Sand. I think that he's gonna be a very strong Heisman pick, and he could possibly just take the whole thing. Because last year he had a great year last year, put up great numbers, great player overall. I think that he could walk away with. I think he could walk away with the Heisman Trophy, if we're being honest. But I think Ohio State is very strong. Uh, a very strong contender for the national championship in terms of winning it and not just competing. But if we're looking into their schedule for this year, let's go over this real quick. Week 1, they've got Ball State. That's a easy win for them. Week 2 has been a very exciting thing for people to talk about because there's been arguments with both teams about where to play, about what time to play and how they're going to do this. And I think they made it a noon game instead of a prime time. Sorry, no, the game actually is 7:30 Eastern time. So they got their late game like they wanted. But they've got Texas week 2. I'm a little iffy about Texas because Arch Manning still needs to prove himself as a quarterback. Playing for Texas themselves. Is Texas back? It's slowly looked that way over the years, but this year will be the year that Arch Manning can prove that, he can make Texas win football games. The Longhorns can go to the Natty, they can do all sorts of stuff, but Arch needs to prove himself. After that, they've got Kent State. And I think that, actually, I know that they will beat Kent State. Then they've got Iowa. I think Ohio State will beat Iowa. They're going to go on to play Maryland. Then the big game against Indiana. A sort of a big game against USC, depending on how good USC is this year. Then they've got Oregon, Northwestern, Nebraska, and then the big rivalry against Michigan. So you can look at Ohio State's schedule and say, well, I see possibly 3 losses on their schedule. I don't remember the last time Ohio State lost 3 games in a season. Somebody could correct me if I'm wrong if it was recent, but I think Ohio State has the potential to beat all of these teams and go on to win the national championship, go on to win throughout the playoffs, and have a Heisman winner and Julian Sayin. But my pick is Ohio State, and I think the sleeper team that could be a close second could possibly be Indiana because Kurt Cignetti has proved that he is a winner, and he proved that last year. Let me drink some water real quick. Now, for my sleeper team this year, I've got, I hate to say this because it hurts my soul because my father is a big fan of this team, but they came so close last year to securing it. And I think that they have another potential Heisman winner on their team, and that's the Miami Hurricanes. I think Miami is a sleeper team that could be in the race for this national championship and that could go all the way. I think that a lot of people are sleeping on Miami. They have retained a lot of players. They've got a great player in Tony. A scary defense. But Miami is my sleeper team for this year. And I think the disappointment that I have on my list, the disappointment of a team that we're going to have this year is going to be none other than the Irish. What a fiasco that was last year with feeling like they're entitled to a playoff spot, to being guaranteed a playoff spot, to, me and a lot of other people don't feel like they deserved a playoff spot last year. I mean, some people can argue that. A lot of people can argue that, but I think Notre Dame needs to obliterate every single opponent that they have coming their way this year to prove that they are a scary team, but I just don't see it. I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it when they played Ohio State in the national championship. I thought that they played thought Notre Dame was a good team that year. I just didn't see a national championship team in Notre Dame. And I feel the same way. I felt the same way last year. I feel the same way this year. So Notre Dame is my disappointment waiting to happen for the 2026-2027 college football season. Next, we're going to move on to a coach that is undoubtedly on the hot seat for this coming football season, and that is Kalen DeBoer. If I'm even saying his name right, I butcher it all the time. Alabama's head coach. Boy, to take over a team like Alabama, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, that's for anybody. Following Nick Saban, trying to fill his shoes, which nobody coaching in college football could ever do. I mean, I'm a Florida fan, and I could say this without a doubt that nobody could fill Nick Saban's shoes, and I think Kalen needs to take Alabama up a notch. And they've got a fantastic QB room. Alabama always has a great team surrounding them, but it seems like his play style isn't the same as we're used to with Alabama. And Alabama's usually very physical, and it's tough to see Alabama in the position that they're in. And I think that he is my coach in the hot seat this year. And I mean, that's the only head coach I can think of right now that's possibly in the hottest seat. But as the season goes on, obviously I'll talk about who's getting warmer or who's going to lose their job. And that's what I got for right now. Moving on, I've got my Heisman favorites for this year. So number one, I've got Julian Sayin. Oh, sorry, I'm not going to go in order here because I don't know what's going to happen throughout the season. But these are just my projections for who I think is going to be in the running for Heisman and who's going to be consistently talked about in the Heisman race. And I think that is Julian Sayin, Arch Manning. Trinidad Chambliss has got a lot riding on him this year, and he played fantastic in the playoffs. Played great all season. And Malachi Toney, Sam Leavitt, and I think that these are our obvious runner-ups. I think that you could put in Kejuan Lacey in there. There's so many great players this year, but I think that these are my top choices for that are going to be consistently talked about all season long for who could win the Heisman. Going on to our overrated, underrated, and who shouldn't be ranked going into this season. For my overrated, I've got Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans, please don't kill me if you're watching this. College football is great when all these teams on the bottom are playing at their peak. I think college football is better all around, and college football is better when Notre Dame is a big-time contender. Notre Dame, I think Oregon could possibly be overrated this year. I think LSU could be overrated this year, especially with all that's happened. No, everybody cannot wait for this Week 3 matchup against Ole Miss in Mississippi. Kiffin's got a lot to prepare for this upcoming season and everything that's going to be thrown at him. And I think that pressure could get to him this season. Next up on my overrated, I think Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. And that is my overrated list. Moving on to my underrated, I've got Texas. I think Texas has got something to prove this year, especially with the coaching fiasco. Arch Manning needs to prove himself. Texas needs to be back. I think that Texas is going to prove a lot and win a lot this year. I think Miami is going to be underrated. I think Texas A&M is going to be underrated. I think that BYU is going to be underrated this year, as they are every year they're underrated. And I think South Carolina is going to be underrated this year. They also have another Heisman contender in Lenore Sellers, and that's those are my predictions for overrated and underrated. Moving on to who I think shouldn't be ranked going into this season. Um, and I think that the teams that shouldn't be ranked at all going into this season is USC, Penn State, Washington, SMU, and Utah. I think all these teams need to prove something, just like any other team in football. Um, but that is who I feel like shouldn't be ranked at first, and they need time to progress and prove themselves worthy of a top 25 spot. Sorry. Going on to my conference predictions for this year. I mean, for the SEC, I've got I think I've got Georgia winning the SEC this year. I think that's kind of a give me for in terms of winning the conference. Um, Georgia is has been a powerhouse for so many years now, and I don't think I mean it's going to be a toss up between Georgia and Texas in my opinion. I think Georgia and Texas are going to battle for that SEC spot in terms of the championship and getting there and winning the SEC itself. I think that in the Big Ten, I've got Ohio State. I think Oregon could possibly, or sorry, I think it'd be Ohio State or Indiana, um, taking this in terms of winning their conference. Um, the ACC, I've got Miami, winning it, and the Big 12, it's kind of a mix for me. I'd say it's going to be a mix between BYU and Arizona State or possibly uh, Texas Tech. So I think that my predictions. I mean they're all opinions. You guys can form your own opinions or let me know what you think going into this season. I'm just you know basing it off of what I'm aware of right now, and I think that we're in for a really fun season this year. And we've got some really fun matchups coming in just a few days on the 29th. And we're going to dive into those games right now, and I'm going to make my picks. So, the first game of the day in Dublin, Ireland, North Carolina versus TCU. I would love to see North Carolina actually win games, especially with everything that has happened last year and their hire that they have in Belichick. And I think that North Carolina could or they should at least try and win some games this year, but I think I've got TCU taking this game in Ireland. Next game on our list, we've got USC versus San Jose State. And I've got USC taking the win. In our next game, we've got Virginia and NC State. And I believe I've got Virginia taking this game. The game after that, I've got Jacksonville State and the debut of North Dakota State. And I think that we might get an upset. I think North Dakota State has been winners for a while now, and I think that they'll come in swinging. They also have something to prove this year, proving that they belong where they belong. North Dakota State is going to win this game. And then we've got Sacramento State and Eastern Michigan. I've got Eastern Michigan winning this. And then we've got Hawaii and Stanford. I'm going to go with Hawaii on this one. I think Hawaii is going to be an underrated team this year. And then we've got New Mexico State and Florida State. I'm a Florida fan, I know. I don't like Florida State. I'm not trying to be biased here, but Florida State is just as bad as Florida. So I've got New Mexico State taking this game, especially the way that New Mexico State actually competed last year compared to Florida State. And I think it's going to be another upset with New Mexico State winning. And then the final game, we've got Memphis and UNLV. And I think I got the boys in Memphis winning this game. Not sure why I feel that way, but I have a gut feeling that Memphis is going to walk away with a win. And that's what I have in terms of my predictions. Kind of move fast through this, and I'm hoping as I put out more videos or episodes, I'll be able to really condense some stuff and really talk about, week by week matchups, stats, who was the player of the week, and who was the stinker team of the week, and talk about the NBA and all the exciting stuff. And I think my next couple episodes are going to be what happened in week 0 and exciting matchups for week 1, and then talk about the upcoming NFL season, and what I think about what's coming in the NFL season, and who I think could win MVP and all this stuff. So a bunch of really exciting things going on in terms of football right now, and NBA fast approaching in October. But hopefully this wasn't a bad first episode, and those who watch this will stick around, and this will become a hobby of mine, and hopefully some people like it. And thank you for watching Fourth and Forever. I appreciate it. Have a good one.